Next week on Thursday, Chapter 12. Words once spoken. Harold never expected such a reaction from me. Neither did I, for that matter. He prodded at the letters on his keyboard as fast as two wasted fingers would move. His words sailed like a banner across the screens. I am clumsy in body and in my ways. That comment came from far left field. I never meant to hurt you. My heart melted, but my face was like stone. I refused to meet the sorrowful eyes. Why am I so upset? You are a man. I guess you know no better. I heard myself say, why do men find it so hard to apologize? Why do they find it so difficult to say those little words, I'm sorry? Knotted fingers attacked the keys with unexpected vigor. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. My cheeks burned. Tears rained down fast and furious. Apology accepted, I said icily. He wrote, I admire your intellect. For some reason, the last words upset me more. He opened a drawer and pulled out the 2 sheets of my writings from some weeks back. Give them to me, I whispered harshly. The hardness in my voice horrified me. I think Harold guessed my intention seconds before I was aware of what I planned to do. He mouthed, No, please. I reached across the desk and took the 2 white typewritten sheets from his limp hand, tore them into 4 pieces slowly and deliberately, and thrust the scraps into my handbag. I didn't recognize the wicked woman operating through my body. In wounding a friend, I was injuring myself more. You mean melodramatic diva, just look at his face. I have to go now, I said flatly. It was barely 20 minutes since I'd walked into the office. Please. His lips shaped the word, and I heard the thin sound emerging from his throat. Harold tried to stand up. His body sagged, and he fell back into the swiveling chair. He turned to his keyboard and began to type. Words staggered across the screens. Please don't go. I couldn't bear the thought of making a whimpering ass of myself. I picked up my feet and ran out of the office into the parking lot. The binder of writings landed on the passenger seat of the car. Oscar Wilde followed, then my Bible in its zippered case. I had to restrain myself to keep from head-pounding the steering wheel. You stupid woman! I heard myself yelling over and over again. You wicked witch, who flounces out on a man with no power of speech and no strength in his body. No Kleenex in the car. I scrubbed my face with the back of my hand and took a deep breath. It took less than 10 minutes to collect myself. Picking up my handbag, I retraced my steps, took a deep breath, and walked into Harold's room. Harold was deep in conversation with Terence, his law school buddy, who had recently joined the practice. Harold supported himself against the edge of his desk as he stood standing directly in front of the wide picture window. He looked up from the discussion, startled by my approach. I gave a foolish grin. The air crackled with nervous energy. Terence excused himself and left. Harold and I sat down and looked at each other. It took me a while to muster my words. I was tremulous and contrite. I'm so sorry for throwing such a horrible tantrum. Will you forgive me, please? He refrained from comment and pointed to the Tupperware container of almonds sitting on the desk. I shook my head and answered without thinking, "No, thank you. I have enough nuts in my life as it is." "You witch!" I had to respect his restraint. He didn't retaliate. Harold kept his unwavering gaze on me. I refused to meet his eye. Seconds ticked by. A suffocating tension shrouded the room. I had to break the unbearable silence. "Something's been destroyed, you know." My voice splintered the stillness like shattering glass. "It'll never be the same again." No response. We sat in futile wordlessness for another half-hour. I licked my wounds in silence, fragile and bruised. Harold held out his arms for a hug when I stood up to leave. I avoided his eye. An iceberg might have responded with more warmth. "I suppose I'll see you next Thursday, unless something else turns up," I mumbled, and left without a backward glance. I sobbed and yelled, "You stupid woman!" at the top of my voice all the way back home. I cried when David got home in the evening and took myself off for a walk after dinner to sit by my stream in the enchanted woods. The pain pouted and refused to leave. I sat on my crying rock and wept. There was an email from Harold when I went home. "You went out of your way to see me today, and you were as mean-spirited in a comment you made. I am punished in not being able to take joy in your accomplishments. I am devastated. Will you reconsider? Whatever your decision, I'll respect. Have a lovely weekend, Harold." My eyes began to burn. Words once spoken and eggs once broken can never be repaired. Mum used to say that. To be continued.